covering all the news from every dark corner of the universe.
Warning, effects of time shifting may occur.
This is Dr. Michio Kaku.
I'm Peter Mayhew.
This is Trisha Helfer, number 6 from Battlestar Galactica.
Hi, this is Colin Ferguson of the Sci-Fi Channel's Eureka, and you're listening to Slice of SciFi.
SliceofSciFi.com.
Certain that I've forgotten something today, I'm Michael R. Meningay.
I'm Brian Brown.
I'm Sam Roberts.
I'm Tim Adamick.
I'm Brett Philippek.
I'm Tribble.
And that is the cast of characters for tonight.
Woohoo!
Yay.
You just watched the opening sequence from Slice of SciFi. It's a web series, but it's also a network radio program. Let's meet one of the producers and find out more about how they make the show.
Slice of SciFi is the brainchild of my business partner, Michael R. Meningay, and Michael is an old school radio guy. He was a radio engineer, and I started my career in radio. Way back in the days, we used to have little 1/4-inch tape and a grease pencil and a razor blade, and that's how you would edit. You would just like, and then cut and have to tape it together. In addition to just being a terrific person and a smart businessman, he is just a sci-fi geek. He reads, he watches, he learns, he immerses himself in everything. He's just, and that was just his personal thing. And over the years, I've just learned that there's great programming opportunities in embracing our geek. If everybody's got a geek, whatever it is, you know. So we try to bring that to the forefront. So Slice of SciFi is really entertainment news programming that you would see the same things on E or Access or Insider or one of the ET rather. It's got just a little more bend off the mainstream. You know, we just try to keep it a little more on the, you know, science fiction and the fantasy. The surreal science fiction films have always been, you know, the greatest sellers and highest grossers. So there's plenty of news going on in that little sub-world, and so we just take a slight bend in the way that we present the information. Yeah, actually we started as just a podcast, just a straight-up good old-fashioned downloadable podcast, MP3 files. And then when we tightened up on the show and made a more respectable presentation and fit within a certain clock and allowed opportunities for advertisers to be fit into that program, then we were able to put the deal together with XM Radio at the time and tightened the show up over the years, and then Sirius came along and they got involved with XM, and then that became that. So now we're on Sirius XM Channel 80 and have been for the last 5 years. And then in 2011 is when we realized that this subgenre existed of television watching radio shows be made, like Howard Stern and some of the others, and thanks to them for creating this subgenre, but it's been to our benefit. So now in this last year we have 8 HD cameras within the studio. They're all feeding in together, and graphics packages that work and move, and so we're looking cooler all the time, and it's been a real success. Well, here's the key element, James, is we have an amazing news director, Michael Hickerson. And Michael has the ability to cull all this great information throughout 24/7. We're a 24/7 news agency, and it's thanks to Michael. So that gives us plenty of content to constantly create traffic and interest and flow. So we have a robust website with a couple 100,000 page views a month of people who are coming to read the news. A lot of them get their RSS feed still, you know, that pop the news right to them. Others are catching it on the radio, and then the web series just became the natural extension of this same process. So we have the same content that we just keep repurposing into different media. Video was the last frontier for us. As I said, I started in radio, so that gave me good understanding of programming and the business of broadcasting. Over the years, I was able to move into video production, although I had been making movies since I was a little kid, you know, so I was like always fascinated by that. But so becoming a television producer was just the natural evolution and what I had always dreamed to be, and have no idea what I would do if I didn't do that. But yeah, I've been blessed to have a great career and do a lot of different things, both in feature film, dramatic television, and an awful lot in nonfiction television. So back in the mid-90s, I was on a television series called Babylon 5, produced by Warner Brothers, and it was a science fiction, Star Trek-ish television series that I was able to play one of the characters. I was the enigmatic Ambassador Kosh. I was the mysterious Vorlon character. And I was also on the producing staff of the show. And one of my responsibilities there was to create a website specifically for the show and do it in such a manner that it would be interactive and give the opportunity for the audience to engage the show even more, peel back layers that didn't exist in the television show and start to create this online community. Well, I gotta tell you, remember, this is '94. Such a thing just didn't exist. I mentioned, you know, like we were so excited that I finally got a modem that got me to 28.8, so I was just like, out of here. So, you know, I was like, that was super fast, you know, I was like, woohoo. And you know, when we made the big jump from a 286 processor to a 386 processor, I was like, you can't hold that on me. So that is really, looking back at it now, didn't know it at the time, but looking back at it now, that was really the very earliest days of social networking and creating additional web content specific to a linear television show. I don't think there was anybody else doing it at the time, so I believe we were among the very first for that. And I have to tell you also that there are lessons I learned in those early days that I still apply today. Okay. I would say whether you're new at web series creation or you're vintage like myself, it doesn't matter what level of production you're at, it doesn't matter what budget you're at, pre-production is always, always, always the key. Plan your work, work your plan. I know that's an old cliche. I know your dad's been telling you that forever. I'm just telling you, it's the truth. Plan, plan, plan. And not just plan how you're doing it or how you're going to be creative, but what is the story? What is the messaging? What is the communication that you're creating it? And who does that go to? Who's really going to tune into this? How are they going to find it? Plan, 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 plan. Grab your camera, throw on a light, and start recording. That's the fun part. And that is the easy part. The hard part is putting it together in a manner that an audience will accept it and be entertained, be informed, and or engage. I'm super proud of Slice of SciFi. Slice has become a valid news agency with a very specific structure and professionalism that is delivered in our content. To me, it is the perfect foundation and business model by which I can now start to rubber stamp other content. So I've just taken on another project that is sports programming. I have some retired NFL players who love to talk about the game, and that is a unique perspective that you don't get by watching, you know, the sports channels. And because they're no longer contractually bound by NFL and Players Association laws about what they can and can't say, you get some really great conversation, you know, which is the same element that I have in Slice of SciFi. I have the most amazing cast and crew on that show, and the truth is they're all hyper geeks, but they really know their stuff, and they're smart people, and they are forever challenging the science of science fiction in the way that it's presented to us. That is a very unique perspective, and I hope that I can find that again in my sports shows, and then I'll rubber stamp that to an automotive show, I'll rubber stamp that to a home and garden show. I mean, there's no such, you know, they say there's no original ideas in Hollywood. Okay, embrace that. Right. You know, it's like, don't try to come up with the new, just do what has already been done, what already sells, find your way of telling a story, you know, differently, but stick with what works. If you're taking this, if you take your webcasting serious, if you really want to make it a career, if you really want to make it, if you have a personal message that you're trying to get out there, it can't be, hey, you know, I pulled some friends together on a Saturday afternoon and we're going to run out with my, you know, Sony cam and shoot something and slap it up there. That's great. That's a great creative outlet. I encourage you to go do that. But if you want to play hardball, you know, it starts here and here.
So what I'd like to highlight from today's show is that when Jeffrey brought up the importance of pre-production. Now I can go on and on and on about the importance of being prepared, knowing what time your actors are supposed to arrive, knowing what time you're supposed to break for lunch, knowing what time certain props are supposed to be there, knowing what scenes you're going to shoot in order. The more you prepare in advance, the more you can minimize any problems that may arise on the set. Now, those problems will arise, but if you're prepared, you know what to do. You know where to look. You know who does what, who's responsible for what situation. Like I said, I can go on and on with the importance of preparation, but please don't overlook it. If you're shooting your web series, you want to know what's supposed to happen each hour of the day and from day to day. So work your plan and make your notes and follow them. I'm James Tucker, and you've been watching The Web Series Show. You can watch the full uncut episode on our website, TheWebSeriesShow.com.